Welcome to the CSL Game of the Week, where we have the 7-5-4 Portugal FC taking on the 11-4-3 Serbian White Eagles. It's a great game we have here for you today. We're really excited about it. Both teams are fighting at the top of the international division. I'm Tiffany Kalanikos alongside with Ben Ennis and Theo Zagar. And guys, it's an exciting game. Let's get right into the player profiles. From the Serbian White Eagles, Theo, take us through.
Today, our man to watch is Daryl Gomez, 30-year-old from Trinidad and Tobago. He's probably been one of their hottest players of late, scoring 5 goals in 3 games. He's a player that their teammates are going to be looking for up top, and he's not afraid to shoot from anywhere. Well, where we saw it last 2 weeks, where he scored a screamer from 30. So he's the man to be watching for the Serbian White Eagles.
You're right, Theo. Daryl Gomez has been red hot in the past few weeks. We had Serbia last week. They were on fire. Dragan Radovic should be impressive tonight too. Keep an eye on him. And now from Portugal FC, let's take a look at Emerson Fiti, Ben.
Well, Emerson Fiti is a guy with a very powerful shot. He's the guy they look to on the set pieces, on the free kicks. He will take shots from distance as well. He's got a very powerful boot. As I mentioned, every single time they've got an offensive set piece, he is the guy they look to take those free kicks and take those corner kicks. He's got a very powerful boot, and we will see that today from Portugal FC.
Lots of impressive things from Emerson Fiti in the past few weeks, all season long here on Rogers TV. We've covered a lot of Portugal FC. Let's take a look at the results from some of the past few weeks here. Ben, why don't you take us through those?
Well, on September 5th, we had a fantastic game with Portugal FC taking out the Italia Shooters 3-2. Serbian White Eagles 5-1 winners over the Brampton Lions. A bit of a surprise there. Lions not holding on with the White Eagles. Then on the 6th, it was the Windsor Border Stars 1-1 draw with the St. Catharines Wolves. Paul Riviere 3-1 winners over TFC. Then it was the White Eagles 3-1 winners as well. As we have a look at the international division, both of these teams play in that division. Serbian White Eagles now find themselves somehow atop that division. A bit of a surprise there as they have upended the Italia Shooters. Portugal FC, you see there in a tie for last in the division. And Theo, why don't you take us through the national division?
And still no surprise up top with Paul Riviere attack with 37 points. Not too far behind North York Astros with Brampton Lions just slightly behind them. And TFC and London City bring up the bottom.
Well, guys, points here are so important for both teams. We have much more to come right here on Rogers TV. Join us right after the break for all the action from the first half.
These guys can catch up.
Yeah, who's that?
St. Catharines.
Yeah.
And they looked horrible that time.
Yeah.
Well, these guys, like, St. Catharines can push in, like, cause they'll move into second if they win. Or third, sorry.
Welcome to Lamport Stadium. This is the Canadian Soccer League on Rogers TV. It's Portugal FC taking on the Serbian White Eagles. I'm Ben Ennis along with Theo Zagar. Glad you could join us here on this Friday evening. Let's have a look at the rosters, the way they shake down. Starting lineups for the Serbian White Eagles, the visitors first. They will start with Sasha Vesiknits, the lone striker up top, but have a look at Daryl Gomez and Budalic as well. They can find the back of the net, no problem. Dan Pelk, the fine, outstanding goalkeeper for the White Eagles, as well as they find themselves somehow atop the international division, now trying to lock down that international division. Over on the Portugal FC side, we've got Mike Silva in goal, DeLuca and Gomez on the front there, and Ramon Bailey and Busto, very good offensive weapons as well for Portugal FC, as they've currently got a spot in the playoffs, but a very tenuous slot in those CSL playoffs, so every
Jeremy?
point mattering for both of these teams, but especially for Portugal FC, as they could easily find themselves on the outside looking in as we have a look at the substitutes right there. And the head coaches of both squads, let's start first with the Serbian White Eagles coach, Milan Kancerovic. There you have a look at him right there. The fine, outstanding head coach of this Serbian squad. And Theo, it's been the Italia shooters pretty much atop of the international division all year as we have a look at the officials first before we get into this first half of action. Isaac Raymond, the head referee. And Theo, a huge 3 points on the line for both of these teams. Hard to say who's got the more important 3 points on the line. You've got Portugal FC trying to make the playoffs and the Serbian White Eagles trying to stay atop that international division.
Well, I think Portugal FC would probably get this more important than the Serbian White Eagles. They're already probably clinched the playoff spot. Not so for Portugal FC. They're still with 25 points, and anything can happen. But with the changing of the guards, Serbian White Eagles over the Italia shooters, it's a long season, and you can't come complacent. And I think that's what Italia shooters. They got off to a rocket start, and they might have got a little complacent throughout the year, and now find themselves in second in the international division. So I think more important that Portugal FC needs the points, but Serbian White Eagles certainly isn't going to give it to them.
Well, we mentioned a couple of key players to watch off the top as we have a look at the head coach of Portugal FC, Jose Testas. And we mentioned Daryl Gomez, we mentioned Emerson Feedy, but a number of players on both squads can put the ball in the net as the Serbian White Eagles will have first possession here in the first half. They'll take it from their own zone. Sapanovic sending it back to Yankovic. Yankovic playing it over to the sideline. White Eagles booting it in here. And the White Eagles used to playing on their home turf at Centennial Stadium, a natural grass surface, not the most beautiful of surfaces, but this one absolutely pristine in the artificial surface. So maybe a quicker game than the White Eagles are used to seeing.
Well, you're going to see probably a better structured game from both teams. They like to play the ball on the ground, and you're going to see probably a lot more possession from both teams. So it's probably going to be a better game than when we saw at Centennial Stadium.
The last time we saw these two teams on Rogers TV, an absolute beauty with Portugal FC going up 2-0, then the White Eagles responding to tie it at 2, then a late goal in injury time putting Portugal FC up 3-2, and they somehow held on for that 3-2 win with the White Eagles clanging the iron as time expired in that one. That was at Centennial Stadium. So 5 goals they were able to put up on the rough turf. We'll have to see how many they can put up here on this pristine artificial surface. Here's Portugal FC now. Summer Sajic trying the middle of the field. That's broken up, but turned over again by the White Eagles. Back to Sajic. Sajic looking up the right side. He's got Bailey, and that is turned over. It'll be a throw-in for the White Eagles. Here come the Eagles with the throw-in. Sapanovic tosses it in, but it's a bad toss. Here's Bailey now. Bailey looking up the right side. Bailey works one man, works to the outside, trying to work back into the middle, but he's taken off the ball. Sapanovic is also taken off the ball, and Bailey creates the turnover to keep the possession to Portugal FC. It'll be Sajic throw it in. Danny Amaral, the captain of Portugal FC, you see there just touching the ball for the first time, playing back on defense today. And I wonder how that will play into the strategy of the Portugal FC squad.
Well, he's a very versatile player. He's their leader for Portugal FC, and he's so versatile that he can play both defense, offense, midfield. Very talented player, and certainly they're going to miss him up top for his goal-scoring abilities. But obviously, defense wins championships, and they look to sort of solidify defensively with him playing center back.
Daryl Gomez plays it up towards the middle. As the White Eagles now looking for their first opportunity of this game. That's a ball broken up by Sajic. Sajic gets it up to midfield and taken off the ball is Portugal FC. DeLuca is stripped of it, but he gets it back. He's got Bailey to his right. Bailey playing it up to Gomez. Over to Sehic. Sehic works his man. Here's a ball across the field, but broken up nicely by the White Eagles. Portugal regrouping. Rain in the forecast today. The wind has started to pick up here at Lamport Stadium, but so far no precipitation. Sehic plays it off a defender. It gets into the area. A dangerous looking ball, and that is played out by the Portugal FC squad, so that'll be a throw-in for the White Eagles. Not sure how pleased the Portugal FC squad are with that call.
It seems that both teams are trying to play this long ball, and they got a perfectly good field. They're a talented group, both teams. They should just play the ball on the ground. The wind's starting to pick up, so that might be a factor once we get through the game. So, you know, I mean, these both teams are capable of playing the ball on the ground and playing some good soccer. So that's what both game plans should be right now.
Bailey at midfield. That's played over to Sehic. Sehic looking for Gomez. Gomez has it. That's played into the middle and broken up by the Serbian White Eagles. The White Eagles playing it up the left side. They play towards the middle of the field. White Eagles playing some ball possession soccer on their end of the pitch. Here come the White Eagles now. Here's a shot, and that will sail wide of the goal. That's Backman with the shot, the left-footed shot. First attempt on goal, didn't find his mark, as Silva will play it up his left side to Emerson Feedy. Feedy playing it to Amaral. Amaral off a White Eagle player. Does get through though. Here's Busto playing it up. Here come the Portugal FC squad. Here's little Emerson Feedy. We know he's got a boot. Feedy trying for the middle of the field. There's a header. What a save! The first fantastic opportunity of this game. A fantastic save by Dan Pelk off the header by Daryl Gomez. And he's making his, make that Vigor Gomez. Fantastic ball across, and Vigor Gomez got the head on it. Emerson Feedy with a very accurate cross, and Gomez had the corner picked, but Dan Pelk bats it aside.
Yeah, it was sloppy defending if you really look at it by the Serbian White Eagles. There were too many players near post and forgot behind, and their goalie Dan Pelk had to make a great save to bail them out and keep the score 0-0.
So there's our first serious opportunity of this game. And it comes early here in the first half. Selmer Sehic will regroup for Portugal FC. 25 points. They are tied for 4th in the international division. There are only 4 teams in that division, but by far the superior division of the 2 divisions in the Canadian Soccer League. There's a ball played up, but past everybody into the waiting feet of Dan Pelk. Pelk looking to his left. He's got Stepanovic to his left. He will instead play it up to Big Yankovic. Yankovic will get it as far as midfield. Portugal FC regrouping in their own side of midfield. Here's Ramon Bailey. Ramon Bailey playing it up. It eventually gets to Sehic. Sehic looking in towards the middle. Finds De Silva, and it eventually gets back to Bailey. Bailey playing it back to his defenseman, Nat. That's over to Feedy. Feedy trying a pass up, does find its mark in Busto. Back to Bailey. Bailey looking in the middle, looking for Vigor Gomez. Gomez gets by the defense and broken up by Dan Pelk. Here's Bailey, and there's a goal! Vigor Gomez breaks the deadlock. He's got the first goal of this game, He broke through the defense, got past Dan Pelk, and put it in the empty net. We've got our first goal of the game, and it belongs to Portugal FC. 1-0 Portugal.
Well, it was a great through ball, and Gomez did well to try to catch up the ball. It was a bit unfortunate play by the Serbian White Eagles. Dan Pelk did get there first, and unfortunately hit his own teammate and went right back to Gomez, and Gomez no mistake into the open net. So a fortunate play for Portugal FC to get that rebound and go right back to Igor Gomez.
Well, just to tell you how even this international division is, one of these teams is tops in the division and the other is at the very bottom, but you just can't tell. They're so evenly balanced, both of these teams, and it's the number one team in the international division having to climb out of a hole now. They trail Portugal FC 1-0 here in the first half. Mike Silva will take the goal kick. Silva plays it to his left. Emerson Feedy, and Feedy hasn't been in on the scoring, but his strong passing has set up the first couple of chances. The first one didn't result in a goal, but his pass at midfield eventually led to the Gomez goal. Here come Portugal FC again. Sehic on the right side. It's played to Bailey. Played back to McIntosh. McIntosh surveying his options. He's got Bailey. Bailey plays it along the midfield line. It gets back to Emerel. Emerel playing give and go. It gets back to Emerel. Emerel slips on the turf and turns it over on the far sideline, so that will be a throw-in for the Serbian White Eagles. We see that a lot at Centennial Stadium, but it's not supposed to happen here on this artificial turf. But Danny Emerel, a bit of a misstep there. Portugal FC do get the ball back, though, as Emerel plays it to McIntosh. McIntosh pressured, but a very adept play there. Plays it up to Emerel. Emerel getting it up to DeLuca. DeLuca takes down his man. No call here. Seems to be a fair amount of Serbian supporters here as Gomez looking to track down the ball. He does. Gomez is taken down, and that will be a free kick. And it will be just beyond the touchline.
Yeah, I think it was just clipped his ankles. You know, it was by accident. You know what I mean? But you got to give the call regardless. You got to be you got to have control of your own body, and just a little clip from behind does the trick. And you know, I know he's not agreeing with it because, you know, I mean, it wasn't intentional, but you know, it was the right call by the official.
DeLuca sends it into the middle. Gets to Gomez, but he is forced to send it back out to Sehic. Sehic working the right side. Sehic with the ball into the area, but nobody home, and that ball will be saved by the Serbian White Eagles. A nice play there. They get it up to midfield where McIntosh is waiting. McIntosh with a ball that gets through, but that is clearly offside.
Yeah, correct call by the official. I actually think Gomez should have got the ball because he was onside, and he would have probably had an opportunity to go to goal, but unfortunately he let that ball go to his teammate, which was in an offside position. But correct call by the assistant.
Here come the White Eagles now. They trail by a goal. They'll play it up the middle. Budalic with a touch there, as that will sail wide, and they will regroup. Serbian White Eagles will throw it in. And here's Zoltan. Zoltan to Vlasky. Vlasky with the cross. That goes through everybody into the feet of Feedy. Feedy playing it up to Gomez. Gomez gets by another defender. He's got DeLuca with him. He finds DeLuca. DeLuca looking right, looking left. Eventually he's taken off the ball. Sehic, though, backs him up. Sehic trying to play it all the way across to Feedy. Feedy can't get to it, though. And here come the White Eagles. Budalic on the right side. can't come up with it, but he will throw it in. He gets it inside to Vlasky. And that's a turnover, and there's a goal, the equalizer. The Serbian White Eagles have equalized at 1 off a turnover inside the area.
And there you go, it's Daryl Gomez again.
Daryl Gomez, so Gomez on Gomez. The Gomez for each side have the goals. And just like that, we're all tied up at 1s here in the first half.
And basically, probably a similar play to how Portugal FC scored their goal. A kick into the chest of Gomez, trying to clear it, and just, innocently just hits Gomez and falls right on his feet and just tucked it away. And that's the wrong person. You want that ball to be inside the 18. And, Gomez, no question, just knew what he wanted to do inside that 18-yard box.
It's an offside call by the assistant referee. Looked very close, but just a terrible defensive miscue there from Portugal FC. When you're trying to lock down your defense, you've already got a lead. To come up with a turnover like that right in front of your keeper, it's got to be heartbreaking.
Yeah, to get one of those lucky bounces, but I guess now it's even. Now we can start fresh again.
The slate is wiped clean. It's an even playing field for both of these teams, 1-1 here. And we said this might be a high-scoring game here on the fast track at Lamport Stadium. It's proving to be so early on in this game. McIntosh will collect for Portugal FC. He's looking for Sehic. Can Sehic run this down? It's going to be tough. And he's not quite able to do so.
Yeah, that's the only problem with this field turf. That ball, when that ball hits that ground, it flies off the ground. And Sehic, as quick as he is, couldn't really reach up to that ball. But it was a great ball, great switch, good idea, but obviously just a little bit too hard for Sehic.
It's played in towards De Silva. De Silva looking left for Feedy. Feedy can wind it up from anywhere. What will he do here? Here's a shot on goal, just trying to test Dan Pelk, and Pelk read it all the way, gobbled it up easily. Emerson Feedy, number 2 on White. The Portugal FC midfielder. We mentioned he's got a shot. He already showed it on a cross early in this game that led to a chance, and that's his first chance on goal right there. That'll be a free kick for the White Eagles.
Well, the referee has let the play. He has allowed the play a lot, which has been pretty consistent. So, he's going to let the players determine this game rather than him blowing the whistle every 3 seconds. So he's done a great job just letting the play go and let these guys play the game. And that's what players want. They don't want the referee to get involved that much, and especially in an important game like this.
Absolutely, a very important game for both of these teams. Another important game coming up for the Serbian White Eagles when they play Toronto, Croatia coming up. That should be a barn burner as well. Big crowd expected for that one.
Hope there's a lot of security on that one too.
Absolutely. Sounds like a lot of the Serbian supporters have made their way over to Lamport Stadium as Ramon Bailey plays it over to Selmir Sehic. Back to Bailey. Bailey gonna try a beautiful pass up, and DeLuca had it all alone but couldn't come down with the ball. Mike DeLuca in a prime scoring opportunity there from Ramon Bailey, but just couldn't control the ball right in front of Dan Pelk.
That's not the touch that he wanted to take, and it was pretty close on the offside, but he's got to do a lot better just to bring that ball down in a situation like that.
It's played back. Here's a ball looking for Vigor Gomez. Gomez draws the second defender, plays it back to Sehic. Sehic working back towards the middle of the field, plays it back to Gomez. Gomez trying to send it back to Sehic, instead ends up turning it over. And the White Eagles will play it up the sideline as it's Visiknits playing it up the left side. Sasha Visiknits, he's a dangerous offensive force, but he is ridden off the ball by Portugal FC. Portugal playing it across the field, and that's broken up. Here comes Budalic. Budalic going to have a go. Budalic sending it well wide of the mark into the parking lot. Well, we mentioned how important this game is as far as the standings are concerned. There you see it right there, the international division. Serbian White Eagles atop the table, 36 points. They have played an extra game, one more game more than the Italia Shooters. Toronto, Croatia, and Portugal FC, both with 25 points. And have a look at our next telecast. Should be a fantastic game as the Italia Shooters take on these Serbian White Eagles. We'll have that one live from Centennial Stadium, as that will likely mean who finishes tops in the international division and maybe tops in the entire Canadian Soccer League. Just Trois-Rivières with a chance as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good game. You know, you're going to have the top two teams in the league going head-to-head, and you can't ask for a better match almost at the end of the season to determine who comes in first in the division and probably in the whole league.
Portugal FC maintain possession. Busto playing it to his left. He's got Fidi. Fidi is acting as the quarterback of this Portugal FC offense as McIntosh regroups. Amaral playing it up to Bailey. Bailey is bodied off the ball, and he's earned a free kick for Portugal FC. The referee thinks the ball was taken in the wrong position, so he will order the free kick taken again. And they do take it. Amaral playing it back to McIntosh. It gets back to Amaral. Amaral playing it up for Bailey. Bailey near the corner. Bailey draws the second defender. A bit of a cheeky chance there from Bailey, but unable to find its mark as he tried to split the two defenders. Emerson Fidi creating the turnover though, and Portugal FC will maintain possession. Bailey playing it back. That gets over to De Silva. De Silva playing it over to Busto. That gets back to McIntosh. McIntosh to Bailey. To De Silva, back to McIntosh. McIntosh to Amaral. That gets up to DeLuca, and that's up to Fidi on the left side. We know Fidi likes to cross from here, and he will do so. Gomez was the intended target. Didn't quite find its mark. Here's Vlaski. Vlaski looking up to Budalic on his right. Instead, decides to regroup, play it back. And that will result in a turnover for Portugal FC as it's played into the middle. That's played over to Sehic. Sehic with a bit of room. Sehic with one man to beat. Sehic beats him easily. Sehic with a shot on goal. A fantastic set of moves from Selmir Sehic, eventually coming away with the shot, but it's punched away by Dan Pelk.
Yeah, great little run by Sehic. He did well to take the defender one-on-one. And the only thing he probably could have done better was try to pick a corner rather than try to hit it as hard as possible right on to Dan Pelk. And pretty much it was an easy save. It was right on the keeper. So in those instances, he should be aiming for a corner, and perhaps, you know, one of his teammates goes for a rebound if it doesn't go in. So pretty standard save by Pelk, but a great run by Sehic. I'm not going to take that away from him.
Absolutely, Selmir Sehic, one of the many offensive weapons for Portugal FC. This man, Ramon Bailey, is one of them. He will have a shot, and that is well wide of the mark as it bangs off the fence behind the end line, and it will be a goal kick for the Serbian White Eagles. And Theo, it is early in this game, but Portugal FC controlling the pace.
Yeah, you know, I mean, they're playing the ball on the ground. You know, they're keeping the possession, and they're trying to find the lanes in the Serbian White Eagles defense. They're being a little bit more patient than the White Eagles, where the White Eagles are trying to play that long ball too much. And they're actually using their wide guys pretty well. They're getting the defensive backs like Sehic and Fidi to come into play, and that's sort of causing a problem for the White Eagles.
White Eagles were down 1-0 early in this game. They did respond, though. Vigor Gomez scoring for Portugal FC. Daryl Gomez responded for the Serbians. And that is where we stand right now in the 24th minute of play here in the first half. It's played towards the middle and turned over by Portugal FC. Tracking it down is Visiknitz, and he's unable to do so.
Yeah, and there's another play where they're not playing it to feet. You know, we know the White Eagles are a very skillful team. They can play the ball really well, but they're not the quickest team. So that's why they need to play the ball to feet and let the ball do the work rather than them trying to do the work.
Sahic plays it dangerously in front of his own goal. McIntosh back to Sahic. Sahic with a touch back towards his defense. White Eagles pick it off in midfield. Stepanovic sending it up, and that gets through everybody. And Nat will watch it go past the end line, and that will go for a goal kick.
Yeah, it did well. Just let the ball run and you know, slow the play down a little bit. Let Silva get that goal kick out. You know, and try to regroup from there. They've started to lose a little bit of the possession. You know, now they should just start to rebuild again and try to keep that possession like they've been doing for the better part of the half so far.
Here's Mike Silva set to take the goal kick. He barks out some instructions to his teammates. Vigor Gomez getting ahead on it. It eventually comes down on the boot of McIntosh, who plays it over to Sahic. Sahic looking towards goal there, and there's another ball looking to get over everybody, and it will be ruled a free kick.
Yeah, it's an offside. The Portugal FC player came back into play, so it was a correct call by the assistant on the sideline.
Here's Stepanovic up the left side. Stepanovic has Daryl Gomez. Gomez with a goal already in this game, looking to create another, and he's earned himself a throw-in deep in Portugal FC territory. It's played back to Gomez. Gomez with a ball towards goal, and that ball was intended back for Gomez. Instead, it's broken off smartly by Portugal FC, and the White Eagles will be pushed back into their own zone with a throw-in.
Yeah, that ball should have been played across to the other side. It should have been switched. They're playing it back into, I know they want to get Gomez into the game as much as possible, but there are times where you got to switch that ball and get it out of the pressure, and the majority of the Portugal FC players are in this zone, and putting the ball back into that zone got cleared out. So they got to work both sides of the field for them to be successful against the Portugal FC defense.
Here's a free kick for the Serbian White Eagles. Stepanovic set to take it. He takes it with the left foot, crosses it in front. Danny Amaral heads it away. And here's Bailey breaking it up for Gomez. Gomez is pushed to the turf by Yankovic. Yankovic pleading his case, but did appear to just take two hands and blast Gomez into the turf.
A little double stiff arm through the back, and he shouldn't be complaining. He's just trying to probably get into their linesman's head. Maybe, you know, try to, for next time, maybe allow him to do that next time. But the correct call by far. You know, you got a two-hander in the back, and, you know, you're going to get that called 9 times out of 10.
Yankovic with the forearm shiver to the back of Gomez. And the Portugal FC, they just turn it right back over. Here's a throw-in for the White Eagles, far sideline. That's bounced towards midfield. Zoltan trying to come up with it. He's taken off the ball by Bailey, who gets it back to Amaral. Amaral playing it across for Sahic, but it's past its intended mark. Instead gets to Stepanovic, and Stepanovic awarded a free kick there as Sahic getting the boot up. Stepanovic, left sideline. Stepanovic playing it up to Zoltan. Zoltan now looking for a cross. He does so. Way out of his goal is Mike Silva, maybe a little too far, and Silva had to just follow up on that play and come out and clear it. A smart play eventually by Silva as it did appear, though, that there were a number of Portugal FC defenders around there had he not touched that ball. But there's a ball in, and that's a cross back and a save by Silva. What a save! Sasha Vesiknets pounds the turf in disbelief. He had a chance right in front of goal, and it looked to be under the bar, but Mike Silva somehow getting the fingertips on it, deflecting it over the bar.
Yeah, great save by Silva. It all started from him from the cross and kicking that ball out. There had to have been some communication there where, like you said, there was numbers for Portugal FC, and this what created the chance. And you know, you don't want anyone else except for Vesiknets inside the box, and he hit a screamer and a great save. Silva kept the game at 1-1 with a fantastic save.
Here's a cross for the Serbians. It gets through everybody over to Ramon Bailey, and some fantastic soccer being played here in the first half hour of play as Vlaski plays it in offside. We've seen fantastic saves at both ends, a couple of good goals, and we're only 30 minutes into this game. Here's a free kick from goal from Silva. Gets past midfield. That will be whistled on the free kick for Portugal FC. We are 30 minutes into this game. Portugal FC and the Serbian White Eagles knotted at once. Vigor Gomez opening the scoring, and Daryl Gomez responding for the White Eagles. Selmer Sehic playing it up the middle. That's a back pass attempted. Ben Ennis along with Theo Zagar, Tiffany Kalanikos. Glad you could join us here at Lamport Stadium. It's Portugal FC taking on the Serbian White Eagles in this Canadian Soccer League battle. Zoltan now with it for the White Eagles, plays it up to Gomez. Gomez looking all the way across for Vlaski. Vlaski comes up with it in the corner. Vlaski will cross it again. And it's an own goal for Portugal FC as it goes off the foot of McIntosh. McIntosh looked to just try and clear that ball, instead ends up pounding it into his own net, and it's 2-1 Serbian White Eagles.
Yeah, good things happen when you're getting pressure in their zone and you're putting dangerous balls into the 6-yard box. It was a well-driven ball by Vlaski, and it was an unfortunate play by the defender. You know, he's trying to clear that ball out, but the good thing for the White Eagles is they're getting pressure in the offensive third, and when a defender is facing their own net, things like that can happen. You're going to create something, whether it's a corner kick, whether it's a throw-in, and eventually an own goal, and that's what's happened here. And it was a great ball, great idea on Vlaski's ball, and unfortunate play by Portugal FC.
Kevin McIntosh currently wearing the goat horns. His own goal is the difference here. We are early. Not yet at the half, as Ramon Bailey trying to get him off the hook. He's taken off the ball on an impressive tackle there inside the box. Kevin McIntosh just trying to clear it, ends up pounding it top corner on his goalkeeper, Mike Silva. And just like that, it's 2-1 for the Serbian White Eagles. They've responded with 2 straight goals to take the lead. They're looking for more now. Sapanovic playing it back to Yankovic. Yankovic up to Gomez. Gomez up the middle as well, looking for Vesiknets, and a nice play there from Silva, as he very well knows the danger that was posed by the incoming Sasha Vesiknets, an extremely talented goal scorer in his own right, was in close to McIntosh. He was the player that McIntosh was trying to clear from the ball when he scored that own goal. Sapanovic sending it in. It eventually gets to Gomez. As here come the White Eagles. Zoltan unable to get past Amaral, and Amaral playing it back to Silva, who plays it up the middle, but a bad pass, and Here's another chance, and it's offside. Vlasky in offside, the offside trap working there.
Yeah, very fortunate for Silva just to get away from that. He's trying to make a play out of nothing rather than just getting the ball clear, getting his defenders out and trying to regroup that way. And very fortunate that play wasn't onside, but he did make the save. But he put himself into trouble, which is preventable.
Mike Silva has come up with a couple of fantastic looking saves, but a couple of questionable decisions as well. Here's McIntosh looking to get his team back on an even playing field. Emerson Feedy back to Ramon Bailey. McIntosh retreats to his defensive position. As Amaral now will have a shot attempt that floated wide of the mark there. An interesting decision by Amaral.
Yeah, I think he tried to just get that ball in far post or in deep into the corner and just sort of shanked it, and it sort of looked like a shot. But I think he's trying to get across and maybe find Gomez or DeLuca on the far post and just really got away from him.
The captain, Danny Amaral, playing on the defensive side of the ball for Portugal FC, a position we're not used to seeing him play. Usually up there offensively as he heads the ball at midfield, looking for Gomez. It eventually finds its way over to Sehic. Sehic battling with Gomez. Gomez eventually does send it into DeLuca. DeLuca make that to Silva, sending it back to Silva. McIntosh. As Sehic plays it back to De Silva back to Silva. He looks left at Amaral. Amaral will watch it go through him and into Sebastian Busto. Busto up the middle. That's played over by DeLuca to Gomez. Gomez playing it up to Sehic. Sehic working his man. Sehic still controlling. A nice back pass there. Here's Busto. We're going to play it over to Bailey. Bailey earns himself a corner kick.
Yeah, great ball in by the Portugal FC defender. And Bailey did take a good touch, but it was just too sort of nonchalant and it was pretty much easy for the defender just to clear the ball. But he did win a corner, so let's look out for a good set piece here for Portugal FC, and the man to watch is probably Amaral, who's very good in the air.
DeLuca here with the corner, sends it out to Bailey. It appeared to be a missed corner kick there. Didn't have quite the zip on it I'm sure he would have liked to have seen. And eventually it is whistled down and a free kick awarded to the Serbians. Jankovic standing near Dan Pelk, who will kick it away for the White Eagles. Pelk getting it 3/4 of the way down the field before it's headed back by captain Danny Amaral. Mason playing it up. Bailey in pursuit, can't get to it. Here's the captain. And that ball in a dangerous area, and booting it out of play and out of harm's way is Selmer Sehic, but that will result in a corner kick
Great
for
pressure,
the Serbian White Eagles.
Great pressure by Zoltan, you know, to make something happen out of nothing. It wasn't a very good ball going in, and he put pressure on the defender and created a corner kick opportunity. And let's see if the White Eagles can capitalize now.
White Eagles will have a corner left side here. It appears that Daryl Gomez will take the corner. Serbians with 4 now inside the area. Referee doesn't like what he sees, so he's going to have some words with the Portugal FC defenders. Everything is set the way he likes it, so he will back out of the way and allow the corner from Daryl Gomez. It sails in towards the middle, and Danny Amaral clears it. DeLuca looking to create the turnover, does. DeLuca earns possession for Portugal FC. Emerson Feedy will take it. Feedy with the free kick. It will be taken by Amaral. Amaral trying to go over the top, looking for Gomez. It's picked off and fired onto the Serbian bench. So that will be a throw-in for Portugal FC.
And Portugal FC has just sort of gone away from their game plan from the first part of the half, where they just kept possession, they kept the ball on the ground. Now they're trying to give that boot and try to run on, and that's not their game. And they sort of got off their game plan a little bit, and now tables have turned, and the White Eagles are starting to play a little bit better, a little bit more on the ground, and a little bit better possession. So, and they have created more opportunities at the latter half.
We're about 6 minutes away from the half here. It's the Serbian White Eagle. Oh, and there's a very close to a second own goal of the evening for Portugal FC, as that header ends up going off the crossbar.
I probably have never seen 2 own goals in one game, and very, very fortunate that that ball didn't drop in for that second own goal of the night.
Once again, Portugal FC just trying to clear it beyond the end line and end up putting the goal very close to their own goal. They've already got an own goal to their credit, as Budalic wearing number 5 now for the Serbian White Eagles. That ball is played up. Serbian White Eagles working the sideline. And taken off the ball by Portugal FC. It's a battle won by Emerson Feedy up to Ramon Bailey. That's turned over. And the White Eagles get it as far as the area, but no further. Emerson Feedy does get it up to Bailey. Bailey now playing it over to the open space.
Please.
Into Amaral. Amaral playing it over for Sehic. And that will be played by De Silva. De Silva to Sehic. Sehic beats one defender. Sehic has DeLuca to his left. Sehic working it across. Here come the White Eagles trying to clear the zone. And there's a hard tackle resulting in a free kick. Referee didn't like the way it was taken, so we'll order it redone.
Very fortunate not to get a booking. That's a tackle from behind, and you're very fortunate not to escape a booking, or at least a booking, nevertheless a red card from behind.
Here comes McIntosh. He's a goal scorer. Unfortunately, was on his own goal. Danny Amaral playing it up to Busto, who plays it up to De Silva, who's tackled from behind. Referee, though, not going to the book, as De Silva still lying on the turf in pain. Referee not convinced, doesn't believe there should be a caution issued.
I think he's just given 2 warnings right now, and I think the next one, or next hard tackle, it's going to be a yellow, regardless of the team. I think he's allowed the teams to play. He doesn't want to show any cards early in the match, but they're giving him no choice. I think the next one is going to be a definite card. So the players have to be a little bit more easy on trying to get that ball, and the referee's done a good job just on allowing him to play, but he's kept good control of it too without even giving any booking. So good job by the referee.
McIntosh stopping that first pass, but not the second. Oh, Sasha Vasiknit's taken down hard, and that is very close to that concrete wall. Visiknit still crumpled on the sideline, and again, the referee not going to his pocket. As Visiknit's taken down by the captain, Danny Emerell, and you can see just how close that sideline is to that concrete wall.
You gotta be careful on this field. I mean, you have the field ends, and there's a little bit of asphalt on the side, and then you got that concrete wall, and it's very dangerous along the sidelines. So players that are playing on the flanks, you got to watch that, and they have a risk of getting a little bit in trouble in those areas.
There you see the substitution with Serrano entering the game for Portugal FC as we are nearing the midway point of this game. Stay tuned at the half. We will have first half analysis and more, as it's Portugal FC trailing the Serbian White Eagles 2-1. Here comes Stepanovic taking off the ball, and it will be a throw-in for Portugal FC into Busto. Busto back to Sahic. Sahic over to McIntosh. McIntosh playing it back to Silva. Silva looking for Feedy, but that pass is off its mark. As Radovic trying to earn the ball off of Emerson Feedy. Gomez into Bailey. Bailey just leaves it though, and he's created a dangerous chance for the White Eagles here as we wind down the first half of action. That shot though is slow and wide of the mark. 1 minute of added time here in the first half, as we're about 1 minute and 10 seconds away from the end of this first half. Portugal FC trying to equalize heading into the final 45. The ball is abounding at the midfield area. Ramon Bailey plays it back to Selmer Sahic. Sahic looking upfield. He's got a man in DeLuca. DeLuca taking off the ball.
Great tackle by Jankovic, well-timed tackle, and just all ball, so no complaints there.
Here's De Silva. De Silva playing it back to McIntosh. McIntosh would love to create a goal here to take his 2-1 goal off the hook. Gomez turns. Gomez gonna have a shot on goal. That sails over the goal, almost onto King Street.
Yeah, not a bad play by Gomez. He's probably been by far the most dangerous player on Portugal FC. Not the shot that he wanted to take, but at least he's creating some opportunities, and he's a threat to the Serbian White Eagles.
And there you hear it. That is the end of the first half of action. The Serbian White Eagles lead Portugal FC 2-1. A fantastic first half of action, but the difference was that man, Kevin McIntosh, with a brutal goal, scoring the own goal. We'll have more coming up after the break. You're watching the CSL on Rogers TV. I don't think it is either, but I could see that it did. That Budalic looked like he was wearing number 5.
It is Budalic. I could ask. What's that? Me? Yeah.
Welcome back to Lamport Stadium. I'm Tiffany Kalanikos alongside with the Portugal FC captain, Danny Amaral. It is 2-1 for the Serbian White Eagles. And Danny, your team started off strong but struggling a little as the half went through.
Yeah, we started off well. We scored the first goal and then 2 mistakes at the back. Cost us 2 goals. Now we have to jump on the horses and see if we can come back in the second half and score a couple goals.
Well, you guys are coming off cold. Your last game was canceled against the Brampton Lions. Tell us, how's your confidence coming into this game?
Well, we're on a 3-game winning streak. We've been playing well with the helps of Ramon in the midfield. It's brought our game up, and hopefully we can come out of this one on top.
What do you think the halftime talk's going to be like in the dressing room when you get back there?
Probably for us to settle down, play more with the ball. We're kicking it up too much. Take control of this game and hopefully score like 2 goals. We need to win this game.
You do. These points are crucial. Now, let's get back to this game here. How are you guys going to ensure the 3 points?
Well, we got to come out strong like we did in the first half, move the ball around, play tough, stop the mistakes at the back, and hopefully score a couple more goals.
Well, best of luck to you, Danny.
Thank you very much.
We have much more to come here on Rogers TV. I'm Tiffany Kalanikos. Join us back here at Lamport Stadium. The score is 2-1 for the Serbian White Eagles.
No, 18.
15.
I'm just saying I hate chocolates.
Okay, so Tiffany's going to take it though off the top?
So don't think I'm weird.
Okay. But Tiffany will throw it to the break when we're done as well? I will, okay.
Welcome back to Alan A. Lamport Stadium. I'm Tiffany Kalanikos, and we have a 2-1 game with the Serbian White Eagles up. We have lots of highlights to show you. We're going to take it upstairs to Theo and Ben.
Well, thank you very much, Tiffany. A fantastic first half of action, Theo. We saw 3 goals, 1 from Portugal FC and 2 from the Serbian White Eagles. It looked like Portugal FC came out with a lot of life as they scored the first goal on a Vigor Gomez. Nice chance getting through the defense, but we saw the White Eagles respond with a pair, Daryl Gomez and then Kevin McIntosh, the own goal, as we are about to have a look at the first half highlights. Some great saves too, though. I mean, 3 goals, but we've seen some fantastic saves from both goalies.
Yeah, but both goalies have made a couple of good stops each, and you know, it could have been worse. Like the score could be 3-2 or 4-3. Goalies have been playing well, but I think Portugal FC has gotten away from their game plan. They were playing well for the first 20-25 minutes, and you know, they playing the ball in the flanks really helped them out to create some opportunities, and it was just on the unfortunate own goal by McIntosh.
And we'll have a look at the match summary here. Corner kicks even, free kicks also even. Shots on goal also even, but this game is far from even, and it's the defense of the Serbian, the Portugal FC squad make that, as they allowed an own goal and almost a second own goal as the header off the defender ends up clipping the crossbar. And if you're Mike Silva, you've got to be sort of sticking your hands up in the air and saying, come on guys, what are we doing here?
It's basically, you know, one of those games where that ball deflects and it goes into these impossible parts of the net, and it was fortunate that they didn't get that second goal. I actually thought it was going to dip into the net, so very fortunate it wasn't 3-1 with 2 own goals for Portugal FC.
Well, it was Portugal FC coming out with a lot of fire, a lot of zip early in this game. They did score just 8 minutes into the game, and it was the White Eagles responding, as we mentioned. The difference right now is that own goal from Kevin McIntosh in the 31st minute of play. As we have a look now at last week's results, Portugal FC were 3-2 winners over the Italia Shooters, and the Shooters were knocked out of first place with that game. So a very big game for Portugal FC. They came away with the win, so they're obviously riding some confidence, and that appeared to be carrying over as they scored the opener here in just the 8th minute, but not so the rest of the way. Serbian White Eagles 5-1 winners on over the Brampton Lions. We saw that live from Centennial Stadium last week. Windsor and St. Catharines knotted at 1. St. Catharines have some big points to make up if they want to make the playoffs in that national division, as they are kind of on the bubble there, Theo.
Yeah, I mean, they have 20 points, and, they're not out, but, they have to get some help as well. So they need to win the rest of the games of their season and get maybe some help from the other teams.
As we have a look now at those standings, as we mentioned, the Serbian White Eagles trying to continue to assert themselves atop the division with 3 points here. That would be huge. That would put them obviously at 39 points. Played 2 more games than the Italia Shooters, as the White Eagles will play again this weekend. So some big points on the line here, as you see Portugal FC with 25 points. That's 5 points up on a playoff spot, but still a bunch of teams in it. And with 3 points for a win, really not quite clinched just yet, but 1 point or 3 certainly would go a long ways here for Portugal FC. As we have a look now at the national division, Trois Rivières atop of the table, and they're battling with this team here, the Serbians, for top in the CSL overall.
Yeah, we really haven't covered the attack that much, but they're a great team. Obviously, first in the entire league, not just in the division, and just really running away with the division here. I don't think the Astros can catch up with points-wise, but they can't become complacent. They got to still play some good soccer, and it's going to be a battle for that top spot, or you could say the President's Trophy of the CSL soccer. So it's going to be interesting coming down to the wire.
Well, North York, we saw them earlier this season, didn't look very good at all, but there they are, second in the national division, so they've obviously made some changes, made some moves to climb the standings, and now just 8 points back of first in the division, as we've got a fantastic game going on here, but lots of fantastic sports action on Rogers TV, starting with some hockey, some GTHL hockey with the Mississauga Rebels taking on the Toronto Junior Canadians. That's live from Lakeshore Lions Arena at 5 o'clock on Saturday. Some great GTHL hockey on the way. OHA hockey on a Sunday. The St. Mike's Buzzers taking on the Junior Canadians. That's from Chesswood Arena. That will go at 7:30 p.m. So the weather might say summer, but the sports, they say winter, as everybody re-entering the ice surface. Hockey starting up again. The Toronto Red Wings taking on the Don Mills Flyers in some more GTHL hockey action. That's live from Westwood Arena on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And then we've got some more soccer. This is a big one. Italia Shooters taking on the Serbian White Eagles. That will be live from Centennial Stadium at 8 o'clock. Join us for more after the break. It's the CSL on Rogers TV. So, okay.
I talked with the coach of the White Eagles, and he said Dragan Radovic is out for the season with a knee injury. So if you want to throw that in
Can you find out number 10, please?
Yeah.
Dragan Radovic is out for the season with a knee injury, if you guys want to throw that in somewhere.
Okay, thanks. Do you know? Oh, yeah, he suffered that knee injury. Yeah,
Okay.
Who's number 10, though? We don't know who number 10 is.
Okay.
Yeah, last week, Radovic.
Yeah, I could do that.
went
Just give me
down
one
with
sec.
a knee, I think.
That's a big loss. So I didn't see him in the starting lineup, and Tiffany was, saying, "Oh, you got to watch out, Radovic."
Welcome back to Lamport Stadium. I'm Ben Ennis along with Theo Zagar. You're watching the Canadian Soccer League on Rogers TV. Just about to start the second half with the Serbian White Eagles leading Portugal FC by a score of 2-1. The difference in this one, an own goal off the boot of Kevin McIntosh. Emerson Feedy has been in on a number of chances, no goals to speak of. You would love one here in the second half. Let's have a look at the highlights from the first half of action. There were a number of them. Fantastic saves, fantastic goals, lots of action, both ends of the pitch. There's the goal from Vigor Gomez to start things. And then Daryl Gomez equalizing for the Serbian White Eagles. And some great saves at both ends, as we mentioned. Dan Pelk with a save, and Mike Silva with a save of his own. And the difference, as you just saw in the previous highlight, was Kevin McIntosh blasting it into his own goal. And I guess if you're going to score an own goal, Theo, you want it to be with authority into the top corner.
Well, it was a highlight goal. Unfortunately, it was in the wrong net. But, it's an unfortunate play by the defender. He's trying to clear the ball, and it just goes off the wrong part of the foot. And, by no means he wanted to score on his own net. And, that's part of soccer. You get a deflection, you get a bad bounce off your foot, and scored a hell of a goal. But unfortunately, it was in the wrong net.
There's Vigor Gomez right there. He opened the scoring for Portugal FC, and I'm sure he would love to have his second goal of the game here. It would be an equalizer if he's able to score it before the Serbians can manage their third of the game. And we said going into this game that it would likely be a tight contest, and it has proved to be just that. Neither team looking far more superior than the other, and should probably expect more of the same in the second half,
yeah,
Theo?
We had waves going back and forth. At probably the beginning of the half, Portugal FC had more or less the possession, and then it sort of just changed. I think Portugal FC got off their game plan a little bit, and Serbian White Eagles got back onto theirs. And you're going to see waves of possession by both teams, and you still got to put the ball to the people that you want the ball, and you got both Gomez's. I think have been the more dominant players on both sides. Daryl Gomez and Vigor Gomez have been the most dangerous people on either side, and I think this is what their game plan should be: is to put the ball to these guys' feet, because good things happen when they get it.
Well, somehow the rain has held off. We haven't had a drop since pregame, where it was misting a little bit. The wind's starting to pick up a bit here as we're about to get underway in the second half, but
well, right now you probably jinxed it, so
probably. So blame me if it
Yeah.
opens up here in the second half. Either way, Portugal FC will start the second half with possession as they move right to left. They trail by a goal, do Portugal FC, as the Serbian White Eagles trying to take a 4-point lead in that international division. Here comes Portugal. They turn it over, though. The Serbian White Eagles booted up the sideline and out of play. It'll be a throw-in for Portugal FC. That ball will be thrown in from the opposite sideline. Emerson Fidi will throw it in. The Brazilian midfielder plays it back to Danny Emerel. Emerel the play up to Busto. Busto will play back to his goalkeeper, Silva. Silva playing it up for De Silva. And offside. Here comes Portugal FC, Emerson Fidi trying the middle of the field. And it comes back to Fidi now. Fidi taken off the ball. And that was a play by Mason to send it out of play, and Emerson Fidi will throw it in near the corner.
Yeah, I think Fidi could have played that ball in, and maybe something might happen on their end. So, you got to play the ball nice and quick, and nice low-driven ball across the net would probably be a better play for him.
Here's Emerel. Looks right for Sahic. Sahic working his man, looking for DeLuca. It's sent out of play. Sahic will regroup and throw it in from the sideline. Sahic looking for DeLuca. DeLuca sent to the turf, but no call, as the fans get a souvenir, but only briefly, as they'll toss it back into the field of play. Sahic will have another toss of it. Does get it to DeLuca. DeLuca sending it back to Sahic. Sahic with a cross, and he's got a man, but just sending him into the corner. What was that play from Sahic? Here's Feedy. Feedy, I thought, might have a go from there, but elects to regroup. And referee is going to award a free kick to Portugal FC from a dangerous area, just about 10 yards outside the penalty area.
It's an unfortunate call, but they got to watch out. White Eagles got to watch out. This is a very dangerous area where you can either get a shot on net or play that ball out wide to get a swing in, or play a ball over top of this wall. So there's a number of options that what Portugal FC can do here. It's now, let's see what they're going to accomplish here.
Well, Emerson Feedy is among the three surrounding the ball. You got to expect him with that big left-footed shot to be the one putting the ball on goal here, as the White Eagles are set to make a substitution.
I'm thinking it's a ball run over and basically a pass along this. It comes over the side here.
And as we get set, here's Serrano now appearing to take it, and that goes right into the wall. Doesn't even get to the goal. Referee, though, that is a Serbian White Eagle player in pain. That appears to be Mason. Mason face down. Not sure if he took that free kick right in the face, but he's holding the side of his head, as De Silva ended up taking that shot.
Mason did well just to hold his ground, and that's what you want the wall to do. I know it's not a job that people admire, but you know, I mean, there's some people got to be in the wall, and he took one for the team, so to speak. So
right off the side of the head. That's no good.
That's no good. If he didn't turn his head, he could have headed it out, let's say.
Well, Eswin Mason,
and he knows it too. He should have probably just headed it out. That's why he's all laughing, he's all smiles. So an ex-teammate of mine, I can joke around with him. So you know, he did well to be brave in that wall there.
Well, Tiffany Kalanikos has some information for us down at the sideline. Tiffany.
Thank you, Ben. I was just speaking with the trainer of the Serbian White Eagles. We mentioned earlier that Dragan Radovic would be one to watch. It's going to be kind of difficult as he is out for the season with a knee injury. We'll see how that fares with the Serbian White Eagles game here today. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Tiffany. And we did see Dragan Radovic leave the game in our last broadcast with that knee injury. It's obviously fairly serious if he is completely done for the rest of the season. That's a big blow to the Serbian White Eagles.
You got one of your top goal scorers, probably one of the most dangerous players in the league, out for the season, and it is a loss to the Serbian White Eagles, but they got a lot of talented, they got a lot of firepower on this team. They just got to play through it, and it gives an opportunity for maybe another player to step up to the game.
Absolutely, and it's not like the Serbian White Eagles are short of power legs. They've got a bunch of players on that team that can put it in the net. Not the least of which Sasha Vesiknets, even Nikola Budalic can be called upon to score. And we've seen Daryl Gomez, the goal scorer for the Serbian White Eagles here. Danny Emerell playing it up to Ramon Bailey. Bailey working it up. That gets back to De Silva. That gets back over to McIntosh. Here's Feedy. Playing it back to McIntosh. That's picked off, and that will be cleared by the White Eagles. White Eagles can only get it as far as midfield, though, because De Silva picks it off, and he was looking for DeLuca. And instead, DeLuca will throw it in from the sideline. Instead, sends it over to Sehic, who will throw it in, as DeLuca will look for the throw-in. Instead, it goes to Bailey. Back to De Silva. De Silva with a bit of room. De Silva with Serrano. There's An attempted shot from Emerson Feedy, and didn't get everything he wanted on that one. Maybe hit a defender as well. But Emerson Feedy has been rather quiet on the defensive end so far in this game.
Yeah, they got to get him into the game. You know, play a little bit more balls in to get him in, get a rhythm for him. Because so far right now we haven't really seen much from him, and he's probably one of the most dangerous players on that team.
Emerell in with the header, and that goes wide of the net. So Danny Emerell playing defense up there on the corner kick, and his header goes wide of goal. And it will be Dan Pelk sent to retrieve the ball. So we have a look at this chance from Danny Emerell. That really had no chance of hitting the net.
But it's a guy that you want to look for on a corner, because he does get up there well, and he's a good and a very good header, very good finisher for this Portugal FC team.
And that will be a free kick awarded to the Serbian White Eagles on the offensive side of midfield. Budalic takes it quickly. Vesiknitz back to Budalic. Budalic has a man. It's Mason. He plays it back to Breletic. Breletic, left foot off a defender. Ramon Bailey in pursuit. Bailey does come up with it, but only briefly as it's turned over there. Breletic comes away with it. Breletic looking wide. There's a cross, gets all the way across. Vesiknitz whiffs on it completely. Emerell bodying his man off the ball, and it will result in a goal kick for Portugal FC.
Yeah, that was un-Vesiknitz-like.
That's not an easy word to say.
Yeah, say that 5 times fast. But he could do better with that, with a cross like that, and just went off the side of his foot awkwardly and forced a goal kick.
Here's Serrano, the substitute, playing it back to midfield. Busto to De Silva. De Silva. De Silva again. Gonna push it up towards goal. It's broken up. And here's Bailey with it now. To Sehic. Sehic gonna keep trying that right side. Here's De Silva. De Silva getting in deep, trying to be a bit too cute there though, maybe. De Silva, as he had about 9 Serbian players to get through if he was gonna get to goal. He didn't. Turned it over, and as a result, the Serbians will have a free kick to their credit.
Yeah, it was a blue wall, trying to go through a blue wall there, and it's very, very hard to do when you got 9 men packed across the field, and I just hope that that's not their game plan coming into the second half, and to just sort of defend. Yes, you want to defend, but you got to still play your game. There's a lot of soccer to be played. There's 35 minutes left, so a lot of soccer to be played, and to pack it in and try to defend this for the rest of the half is not a smart move by the White Eagles.
Well, on that defensive series for the White Eagles, they just had 1 man up in an offensive position, so it did appear that that's going to be the strategy they take here, but they're on the run now. Here's Marko Medic. He's going to look for a cross here. Medic working Emerson Feedy, but a great play by Feedy, the defender, to clear the ball back to Danny Emerell. Emerell looks up to Serrano, instead plays it back to Feedy. Emerell boots it up to Daryl Gomez. It gets back to Serrano. Serrano looking for Gomez again, but he can't get through the defenders. Back to Feedy. Feedy looks at Emerell, feeds him the ball. Emerell looks right, goes right to McIntosh. McIntosh to Sehic. Sehic on the run. Sehic looking up for DeLuca. DeLuca looking to take the ball off Yankovic. He does. Portugal FC now have possession in the offensive zone. And they will have a throw-in. Sahic throws it into Bailey. Bailey just able to get it into Tan Pelk, and Pelk smartly smothering it. And he'll take a big drop kick down to Kevin McIntosh, who's got to be feeling nervous every time he plays it back towards his own goal. Doesn't want to end up with 2 own goals in this game.
Silva has been having some problems with the pass back. You know, it looks like he's a little indecisive on what he wants to do with the ball. You know, there's times where he wants to play it like a defender, and other times he wants to just boot it out, and he's sort of not sure what he wants to do when he gets that pass back. You know, we've seen quite a handful of times where he's just giving the ball away, if it's a throw-in or if it's a play right to the Serbian White Eagles player. So, you know, I mean, he's got to clean that up, because, you know, it might result in a goal. So he's got to be careful with that.
Communication, a bit of an issue here for the Portugal FC defenses. The White Eagles play it in. Danny Emerald rising up, make that Selmer Sahic rising up and heading that. And here's a chance for Budalic. Budalic looking far corner, and a similar looking play to the own goal as Sahic boots it beyond the end line. But this time he did miss the goal, and it will result in a corner kick.
They're just playing balls in front of the net. You know, I mean, anything could happen. You know, it's not, you know, if it's once, it could be twice. So, you know, they're doing well just to get the ball into dangerous positions.
About a half hour to go in this game. Serbian White Eagles lead it 2-1. Portugal FC did have the early lead just 8 minutes into the game. And you can hear the Serbian White Eagles supporters not too happy with that call, as I think they outnumber the Portugal FC supporters here at this game.
I think they have every right to sort of complain for that one. I definitely thought that it went off the Portugal FC defender, resulting in a corner. And I think they have the assistant point to the corner flag as well. So, you know, everyone makes mistakes. You know, hopefully it's only won by the referee.
Yeah, that's the hope, as the Sicknets looking for possession, plays it back, and White Eagles taking off the ball as De Silva is on the turf, but he will get up quickly, and it'll be a free kick for the Serbian White Eagles at midfield. Daryl Gomez looking for Sasha Vesiknets. That's offside. And just like that, it's back into possession for Portugal FC.
Yeah, they can't just give the ball away like that, and especially being lining up offside is sort of unacceptable at this stage in this level. So, you know, I mean, they got to do a little bit better just to sort of keep possession for a bit, rather than just give it away and let them take control of possession.
Serrano working with Bailey. Bailey with Serrano to his left. He had Gomez as well, but that was picked off as he was looking for Gomez to his left. McIntosh plays it to his right in the form of Sahic. Sahic looking for Gomez. Won't go. McIntosh and Sahic connect. Sahic looking for DeLuca. DeLuca gets to it and maintains possession. Here's Bailey playing it back. Here's De Silva. De Silva looking to have a go. De Silva, the low shot broken up. De Silva with another chance. De Silva just really wanted to get that on goal and get it through. Everybody knew it was coming. Let's have a look at the goal scoring leaders in the Canadian Soccer League. And there we see Dragan Radovic won't be able to add to his goal tally of 12. So he will not finish this season as the top goal scorer in the Canadian Soccer League, as he is out for the season. Daniel Nascimento failed to connect on goal in our game last week against the Serbian White Eagles, but he still is in line for that goal scoring title. That just goes to show you how important Dragan Radovic has been to the Serbian White Eagles, as he is their team's leading goal scorer. And here's another chance for the White Eagles, but broken up and played back. And once again, Mike Silva having problems with those passes back to goal.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he looks like he's unsure what he wants to do with his ball. I think right now, when you're unsure, you try to hit it as hard as you can and just get it out instead of trying to make a play. You know, I mean, he's having trouble all game as a keeper. You know, when you're doing that and you've sort of escaped it a few times, you know, just get that ball out and try to win it at midfield.
It is brought to midfield by Portugal FC, and they will maintain possession via the throw-in as Selmer Sehic will throw it up the sideline. He's looking for DeLuca, who earns a throw-in of his own, and he sends it to Bailey. Bailey sending it back. Again is sent out of play, and that will be another throw-in for Portugal FC. So Mike Silva not looking like his normal confident self on those defensive pass backs to the keeper, and it's resulted in a couple of chances, so we'll keep an eye on that. Here's Portugal FC. DeLuca looking for it. It gets to Sehic. Sehic electing to keep it in play, and he's rewarded with a free kick.
Yeah, Sehic, he's done well when he has the ball, and DeLuca has got to get out of his space. You know, Sehic needs that space to take someone one-on-one. He's very quick, he's very skillful, and you can see right there the little burst of speed to get by Gomez and create a foul. So, you know, DeLuca's got to get out of that space and let Sehic do his work there.
Here's Feedy, set to take the free kicks. Feedy lining up. 5 men in the box. That's sent in, and it's a goal. There's the equalizer. De Silva taking the free kick from Emerson Feedy, and he taps it by Dan Pelk, and just like that, we're tied at 2s.
Yeah, it's a very good, dangerous ball. In a low-driven ball is hard to read by a goalkeeper, so he's got to stay on his line. And I don't know if he got a touch or if it went straight through. More or less, it got a touch, but a great ball by Feedy. We haven't seen him, you know, do anything all game, and like you said in the pregame, very dangerous on set pieces. And so, you know, I mean, great ball by Feedy, and De Silva maybe just getting a little touch or how we can say it in hockey, stick on the ice and deflecting into the net. So Portugal FC has found some life back, you know, coming back 2-2, you know, getting that goal back that McIntosh has given the Serbian White Eagles.
So we start from scratch again here in the second half. This crowd re-energized. Ilyson De Silva has provided the equalizer thanks in large part to the free kick from Emerson Feedy. He's done it all season long. He does it again, does Feedy. And it's got his team in position to pick up a very valuable point. Lots of time left, though. And we learned that, if nothing else, from the last time these two teams met.
And going back to the goal, you know, we got to give a sort of an assist to Sehic creating that foul. You know, I mean, he did well to get by the defender, by Gomez, and creating that foul. So an assist, you know, for that, you know, but will probably be unrecorded. So a great play by Sehic to start that up.
Absolutely, Selmer Sehic, a big part of that opportunity. And it's been a fairly cleanly played game, no discipline awarded, and we're into the 67th minute of play. It will be a free kick here, though.
I know the referee has done a great job just keeping control. You know, no need to bust out cards. When you have control, you know, he's done a fantastic job, you know, keeping control of this game and keeping it to a minimum. You know, he's talked to a few people, warned them. You know, no need to start throwing out cards. He's done a fantastic job throughout the 67 minutes.
And I'm sure the players appreciate that more than the quick trigger finger on the referee. And it has been a fairly cleanly played game, as The White Eagles play it down the sideline. There's Mason working as defender, but Bailey takes him off the ball. Bailey to the middle to Busto. Busto playing it to Feedy. Feedy looking left. Feedy's going to take it himself. Now play it back. Busto. Amaral. Back to McIntosh. McIntosh. Up the right side to Sehic. Sehic. Into DeLuca. DeLuca. Looking cross field to Feedy. Feedy's just going to be able to get to that. Right in the corner is Feedy is just taken off the ball there. Smart play. But right to Busto. Busto over to the goal scorer, De Silva. De Silva sending it right to Sehic. Sehic sends it in. Here's Bailey, gonna have a shot and a goal! Ramon Bailey has changed the fortunes of Portugal FC. 2 goals in the second half, and they lead the Serbian White Eagles 3-2.
Great strike by Bailey. You know, nice, low, hard, just got it on net. You know, he probably wanted a little bit more power on it, but you know, it was great accuracy by Bailey to hit it into the far corner. A great layoff by, I think, this DeLuca. So that really set that play up, and great strike by Bailey. You know, to take this lead.
Well, if McIntosh wasn't off the hook with that second goal for Portugal FC, certainly is now. They have the lead over the Serbian White Eagles 3-2 with about 20 minutes to go in this game.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, at the beginning of the half, I hope that the White Eagles don't get into a defensive shell, and that's what it's happened. And as a result, 2 quick goals by Portugal FC to take the lead now.
Danny Amaral has got to love what he's seen his team do here. The veteran captain playing defense, and his forwards ahead of him have scored 3 goals to counteract the 2 from the Serbian White Eagles. And we mentioned it, Theo, you did in particular, that the Serbians were clamping down on defense, not worrying enough about offense and playing just one guy in deep, and it didn't work for them there, that's for sure.
Well, they got to start getting some players up, you know, and they've allowed this game to slip through their hands. There's still a lot of time left, but they got to get back into their game plan.
Here's Bailey playing it up to Feedy. Feedy looking towards the middle. Feedy with a great move. Feedy into the middle, and that was into the feet of the replacement Serrano.
Yeah, great play by Feedy. You know, I think since he's gotten that assist or that free kick, he's got back into the game. He's now got a rhythm. They're giving the ball a little bit more to him, and you could see the skill level on Feedy. You know, unbelievable. You know, great ball in. It was unfortunate that his teammate couldn't get to that ball, but you know, obviously being dangerous right now.
And there's a turnover from Dan Pelk. Not a very smart play there. Vigor Gomez taken off the ball. Gomez thinks it should be Portugal ball. Instead, it will belong to the Serbians.
Yeah, I don't know what Pelk was doing. He was basically doing some keep-ups in the corner of the 18, and you know, that's a little bit of showboating. You know, I'm without words there. I've never seen it, you know, during a game like that, and a goalkeeper doing some juggling, so to speak, during a game. So he was very fortunate that he escaped without any harm.
So some lackadaisical play doesn't come back to haunt Dan Pelk there, but he's seen 3 goals go past him. Here's Serrano. Serrano gonna play it back to Bailey. Not a bad idea the way Bailey's played this game. You gotta wonder, Theo, maybe a different mentality for this Serbian squad. They've played the entire season as the chasers. Now they're the chasees. Everybody's looking up at them in that international division. The pressure's on, and so far, not coming through.
Yeah, you know, when you're at top looking down, everybody's gunning for you. And it gives you that pressure, like you said, to play well every game. You know, everybody's coming. Everyone gears up for a first place team. So you can't just assume by walking on the field that you're going to get the 3 points. And I'm not saying they've undermined Portugal FC, but especially in the second half where they sort of been in a defensive shell, and you know, the rest is history. You know, now it's 3-2 for Portugal.
And also, don't forget about possible playoff implications as Mike Silva comes out, and that goes right through his legs. Mike Silva has not looked himself in this game at all, but he does recover on that one.
But, you know, I mean, I'm going to defend the keeper on this one. I know he's had trouble this game, but, you know, when a defender comes in and sort of fakes him kicking the ball away when the goalie's right there, you know, I mean, it sort of throws you off. So I'm going to defend my colleague here and say, you know,
as a goaltender, you would do that.
Yeah, and you know, when a keeper calls for that ball, none of this fancy trickery or, you know, you want to sort of fake the other player, you know, and you'll see it right now where William or McIntosh again almost results in not an own goal, but a giveaway or a setup for a goal. So, you know, you don't want to do that in front of a keeper, you know, when he's coming out and he's already got the ball. So, you know, throwing your own guy off is questionable.
Well, it hasn't been the best day for Kevin McIntosh, that's for sure. As he's already got an own goal, but luckily his team's got him off the mat. Here's Budalic playing it up. That gets out wide and crossed in, and that was a dangerous looking ball. That will be a corner kick.
I think Budalic was complaining it might have been a handball, but I think he made the right call or right non-call, so to speak.
Serbians back it in. Here comes the second defender in the form of Gomez, and that will result in a goal kick.
Yeah. Once Vasignac's support left, it was a great thing that Portugal FC saw that. They double teamed him, and he knew he was done, and he tried to maybe gain a foul out of it, but you know, to no avail.
Theo, what we shouldn't forget about this game as well, I mean, these two teams could easily meet in the playoffs, and what kind of a mental block that could be for the Serbian White Eagles to have lost 2 straight times to Portugal FC to close out this season.
You know, I mean, like, it is frustrating, but playoffs is playoffs. It's a new season. We all know in every sport, you know, you can own a team in the regular season, but playoffs are playoffs. And you know, Portugal FC cannot take it for granted that, oh, you know, they've won the last 2 games. You know, they got to build on that and use that for them. So, you know, it's going to be a good game. You know, I mean, if these 2 teams meet in the playoffs, it's going to be a great game.
It's been fireworks pretty much every time they meet here in the regular season, as Portugal FC was on the happy side of the same 3-2 score last time they met at Centennial Stadium. And here's a free kick for the Serbian White Eagles, played up to Zoltan. He looks left. He's got Mason. Mason dropping it off. It gets back to Mason. Mason's got 3 in the middle. Mason trying to play it towards Budalic, and that will be a corner kick.
You know, great play by Amaral. You know, he's very good with his head in more ways than one, and you know, he knows how to direct that ball to certain places. So he did well to clear that ball away.
That corner gets all the way across to Vasignitz. Vasignitz plays it off a defender, and really that didn't sail too far wide of the far post.
You know, it wasn't that far, like you said, and I think it just hit off another player's ear or face off of Vasignetz's shot. So I hope, you know, everything is okay, and it didn't look like it went off his head, or I think it went off his back or something, but very close. You know,
that's the substitution, Gustavo Serrano there.
Yeah, it was. You know, after looking at the replay, it sort of went off his back, and maybe the pain shot up his back into his neck. So, you know, I hope. Well, he looks like he appears to be okay. So
he's going to be just fine, as is this man, Ramon Bailey, who plays it off to Selmer Sahic. Sahic playing it back to Bailey. Bailey gonna take the roundabout route to Kevin McIntosh, who coughs it up again. Brutal, brutal game for Kevin McIntosh today. Here's Sasha Vesiknets.
Well, if they come out with the win, then McIntosh can just put it under the rug and go forward from there. So, you know, he hasn't had a good game at all, and that's he's at a position where you can't afford to have bad games.
Jose Testas has not gone to the substitutions for McIntosh yet. He does have a number of substitutions lying in wait, but he's going to go with the group that got him to this 3-2 lead.
Well, you don't want to really change your back four. You know, I understand where, you know, he's not having a good game, but he has the experience. He's been there for him all year. You know, you're going to have games like that, but you never, as a coach, unless you really have to, you don't really want to mess around with your back four or your defensive line unless, you know, you want to go more attacking. But right now they're going to look to just keep the back four as it is and hope Danny Amaral can sort of give him some encouragement. I think that's what he's doing now, and sort of, you know, get his head up and, you know, finish the game strong.
Stamatovic will enter the game for the Serbian White Eagles. The Portugal FC also looking to make a move. And it will be DeLuca leaving the game. He'll have a seat for Yami Williams, who will enter the game.
I think they're putting a little bit of I think they're putting another defensive body in Yami Williams just to help out maybe in the defensive midfield role. You know, now they can sort of go defensive style for the rest of the game. There's only 10 minutes left rather than doing it at the beginning of the half, such as the White Eagles.
Busto playing it to his left to Emerson Feedy, and Feedy not coming up with the play he was looking for. A little bit of a miscommunication between him and Serrano. Comes back to Pelk. Pelk playing it up to Yankovic. Yankovic playing it up the left side, and that eventually gets up the left side as Gomez, or make that Mason, hits the turf, and no call there. Referee says play on.
I think it was a good non-call. You know, Mason knew that he sort of lost possession of the ball, and he was trying to maybe get a call from the referee there.
Serbian White Eagles play a deep ball in. That's ruled offside, and Milan Kankarevic can't believe it on the sideline. He is waving his flag in disgust. There you have a look at the crowd on hand. A lot of them are Serbian White Eagle supporters. Kankarevic still having words with the referee. Yankovic heading it up to Stepanovic. Stepanovic going to throw it in now. And that will also find its way out of play, and this time it will be a throw-in for Portugal FC as they're 10 minutes away from victory here now. 3-2. Ben Ennis along with Theo Zagar. You're watching the Canadian Soccer League on Rogers TV, and it's Portugal FC leading the Serbian White Eagles 3-2. 82nd minute here from Lamport Stadium. We're at King West here in downtown Toronto as Portugal FC break up that chance as well. Yankovic going to have to go all the way back into his own zone as Gomez was giving chase. It'll come back to Yankovic. Serrano is going to pressure him and watch it sail past. That'll be collected on the sideline by the White Eagles, played back towards the middle. Here come the White Eagles now. Here's Mason to Gomez. Gomez looks to have a go. Gomez with a shot, and that just sails over the bar.
Yeah, he got a little excited there, you know, from 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago whenever he scored that screamer. And I said in the pregame that he's not afraid to take a shot from far, but I think the better option was to give it to his flank that made a great run down the wing. And all he had to do was lay it off, and he could have been alone one-on-one with the keeper. So I know he's trying to, you know, bring this game to equal, but you know, he's got to make a little bit better decision on his shot there or lack thereof.
Mike Silva again with a turnover, trying to clear the ball from harm's way. White Eagles with a cross. Danny Emerell with a deft header. Came down to about foot level, but he got his head all the way down there. Obviously more comfortable with the head than with the feet. Vigor Gomez now gonna have a go. Vigor Gomez working his man, and he's taken down and has earned himself a free kick. And Gomez holding his shoulder a bit. Obviously in some pain as he hits the turf.
You know, he did well to hold the ball. He's now slowing the play down. He was taking the ball to corner and, you know, created a foul. He landed hard on his left shoulder, or his right shoulder, sorry. But, you know, I think he should be fine. You know, I think he's an important part for this team. You know, he's a big body out there. He can hold the ball, and they're going to probably look to put the ball into his feet so he can take it to the corner and waste some time that way.
Danny Emerell playing on the defensive end of the ledger for Portugal FC. We've said his name a number of times. He's come up for a couple offensive sets, but he's been pretty solid on defense. Just a couple of miscues between the defenders and goalkeeper Mike Silva. But so far that move has paid off for Jose Testas.
Well, you know, I mean, he's their captain. He's very versatile. We see him play more or less in the midfield role. But, you know, a good player can play anywhere on the field. You know, I mean, and he's a very good player. And, you know, wherever the coach needs him, he's going to play there.
That was a chance that goes by the wayside. Ramon Bailey looking for Emerson Feedy in the middle. Couldn't find him. Here's Yami Williams. McIntosh playing it to Emerell. Emerell gonna try the right side, and Gomez with a nice move to get in, but not past Yankovic, as he uses his long strides to get in there and pick that ball away and send the White Eagles in, as Budalic plays it up to Breletic. Breletic looking for a cross, and that cross was kicked out of harm's way by McIntosh, then sent back in by Yami Williams. McIntosh appeared to have that out of harm's way, and then Yami Williams, for some reason, sent it back to him.
Yeah, it's been a game where, you know, you think that the ball is going to go out, and it sort of hits either the opponent or your own player, and it goes right back into a dangerous area. And very fortunate it went back to the right player for them to get it out. And we do have an injury on the park here. Not quite sure who it is.
It's a Portugal FC player. As the trainer comes out, we'll tell you about our next CSL Soccer telecast. And that will be one of the highlights of the season. The Italia Shooters and Serbian White Eagles likely playing for top spot in the international division, and likely top spot in the entire Canadian Soccer League. That comes your way this Friday in a week's time, 8 o'clock from Centennial Stadium. The Serbian White Eagles will try and stay atop the international division standings. They're having a tough go with Portugal FC here today at Lamport Stadium. But they came into this game with a 1-point lead, as that toss-in goes off a defender, and there's a goal! Again, we've seen it about 5 times today. Mike Silva, with a miscommunication with his defender, throws it off the back of his head. It ends up in the back of his goal, and he rips the net off its moorings.
Yeah, you know, Silva has had a lot of problems with distribution tonight, and you know, and that's the one that really cost him this time. You know, I mean, he's trying to lead the ball out and ends up hitting his own player, and I hope it's not McIntosh. You know,
it looked like it was Yami Williams, but that will end up as a goal for Seswain Mason, and unbelievably, inexplicably, it's 3-3, and anything and everything that can go wrong for the Portugal FC defense and goaltender have today, seemingly.
Yeah, you know, I mean, not a very strong game by the Portugal FC defense, including the goalkeeper, and realistically has given 2 goals away to allow to be tied at 3. But let's give Caswayne Mason some credit. He hit a nice shot, you know, knowing that the goalkeeper's off his line, and great shot, great heads-up play by Mason.
Now the Serbian White Eagles have visions of 3 points as Silva comes all the way out, almost into the corner to play that. And, you know, give him a bit of credit. He's not gun-shy after all he's faced today. As he comes all the way out to play that ball, and just a blooper reel goal as he tosses it off the back of the substitute, Yami Williams. Yami Williams not looking for that at all as it goes off the back of his head. Ends up in the back of the net.
Yeah, it's nothing that the defender, he's just going up. You know, the goalkeeper's telling the defense to move up to play, and next thing you know, it bounces off his noggin. And, you know, it's an unfortunate play. And again, it just lies into an unfortunate player, you know, for Portugal FC.
Vigor Gomez, the goal scorer, leaving the game for Dennis Santos now. So Gomez is out of this game, and I'll give him credit. Mike Silva with a nice bit of reaction after that miscue on goal. He ripped the goal right off its moorings, almost threw it to midfield. As the White Eagles unable to get it in deep, and De Silva will look to his left, and there's a pass well off the mark. And we are almost into added time here, into the 90th minute. Caswayne Mason taking advantage of that terrible miscue from Mike Silva, who is still hanging his head there back in goal. I'm sure still thinking about that play in particular and what could have been a 3-2 lead and likely a victory for Portugal FC. Now they're just going to try and hang on for the single solitary point, but they've got Sasha Vesiknets in deep, and Vesiknets going to have a go on goal, but that didn't really pose a great threat.
Yeah, I think Budalic was looking for the 1-2 there, and you know, Budalic does have a little bit more pace than Vesiknets, but you know, he's trying to catch Silva maybe off his line or catch him off guard. You know, I mean, he hasn't had a very great game, and you know, a smart player will look to just get the ball on net.
Here's Sahic now. Sahic up the right side. Sahic playing it up to Serrano, but it's too far. Sahic's pass goes awry, but it's picked off by De Silva, but he is able to get past the defender, but appeared to go off his hand, perhaps a handball being called there. Here come the White Eagles up the sideline. Budalic in hot pursuit as well. Vesiknets in the middle as Breletic takes it up the left side. Breletic able to get all the way inside the area, and he's taken down on a tackle, dangerous tackle inside the area, but no call there, as Sapanovic will play it up to Breletic. Breletic looking right. Breletic faking the cross. Breletic still working his man Sahic, as we will have 3 minutes of added time, broken up by Kevin McIntosh. And that will get back to midfield. And Portugal FC just holding on for dear life for a very valuable point here. De Silva can't get to it. They've been unable to clear it from their zone here for the last 90 seconds or so. Finally able to break it up as McIntosh brings it up the right side. McIntosh has Bailey. Bailey, a dangerous man in his own right, already has a goal here today. Bailey ends up on his backside and writhing in pain is Bailey. Referee will blow it dead, and we will have some more injury time added as Bailey is writhing in agony on the turf. As didn't look like much was going on there. Maybe a twisted ankle.
I think he actually got stepped on. You know, there was no foul. Obviously, it was a great non-call by the referee. He was falling down, and I think the defender, the White Eagles defender, stepped on his foot. So I think that's where he's getting. That's where he's feeling the pain right now. But you know, they're struggling to hold on to this 1 point. You know, they're penetrating with Bertelic on the left, and he's got to actually do a little bit better and try to get that ball in rather than start dancing and you know, trying to juke so many men. You know, he did it once. You know, get that ball in. You know, anything could happen. You know, we saw the second goal for the White Eagles and it was an own goal. So let's continue to do that. And you know, and you have the bodies in there for a header or for a rebound, and instead of just, you know, trying to make things happen by yourself.
Well, it's been a crazy game. Really, without the defensive miscues, could easily be 3-1 Portugal FC here, as they've already seen an own goal get belted into the back of their net by Kevin McIntosh. Then we've seen the goaltender, Mike Silva, chuck the ball off the back of his defender's head, resulting directly in a goal, as Bailey's actually going to head to the sideline here. So we will obviously not stop at 3 minutes of added time here. And there will be a substitution at the next stoppage for Portugal FC, as there's no telling now how much time left in this game, as Visiknitz had a good run at it, but Portugal FC still having problems clearing it. Do just get it over midfield. And the White Eagles regroup Stematovic, and he sends Budalici in offside. And perhaps the substitution will be made. Referee does allow it to take place, as Ramon Bailey will exit officially. And it is Rodriguez entering the game. Here's Yami Williams. And that ball does not find its intended mark. Daryl Gomez will play it up, and that will be the full-time whistle. It will end in a 3-3 draw, as Portugal FC battled back to earn a point, but could have easily been 3, as the defense and goalkeeping left a lot to be desired here. Portugal FC scoring twice in the second half to gain a 3-2 lead on the Serbian White Eagles, but a big miscue from Mike Silva results in the tying goal, and that ends in a 3-3 draw. Let's have a look at how we got here, as it was really a fantastic game. Lots of drama. That was the goal off the Emerson Feedy free kick put in by De Silva. And then Bailey gives Portugal FC the 3-2 lead. Bailey with a fantastic shot. Low shot finding the bottom right corner. And here was just a terrible defensive lapse there from Mike Silva. And let's see him rip that net right off its moorings. Oh, we didn't quite see it, but obviously Mason ecstatic about it. And he's got reason to, as the Serbian White Eagles build their lead in the international division by another point. They've now got a 2-point lead atop that international division, as they tie Portugal FC 3 apiece here at Lamport Stadium. If you like this one, you'll love this one. Italia Shooters taking on these Serbian White Eagles next Friday at September 19th, live at 8 o'clock. Well, a fantastic game here from Lamport Stadium. For Theo Zagar, Tiffany Kalanikos, I'm Ben Ennis. Portugal FC and the Serbian White Eagles tie it up at 3. You've been watching the CSL on Rogers TV.